Mr. President, I believe that the Deficit Neutral Disaster Relief Act that Senator Bennett and I have drafted is at the desk, and it is my understanding that both sides have cleared the bill. I would have to add, after a lot of pushing from Senator Bennett and me and many other Coloradans, along with the governor and the Colorado Department of Transportation. So I therefore ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to immediate consideration of Senate Bill 1560, introduced earlier today by Senators Udall of Colorado and Bennett, that the bill be read 3 times and passed, and the motions to reconsider be made and laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate.
Is there objection? Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. President, if I might, I'd like to make a few minutes of remarks and to thank my colleagues and once again outline what this important act that we just passed will do. It is critically important. I was on the floor Friday. I know the presiding officer was here Friday and was patient and listened to the case that Senator Bennett and I made at that time. This is critically important because it will allow Colorado to begin rebuilding our battered roads and bridges and highways without having to wait years for relief. We're really close now to getting this legislation to the President's desk, and I look forward to working with my colleagues in the House, with Senator Bennett, to get this law, this bill, I should say. It will be a law soon, we hope. This bill signed into law as soon as possible. As I mentioned, Senator Bennett and I have been to the floor on a number of occasions in recent days to highlight how devastated certain parts of our beautiful state are as a result of these biblical floods that we suffered just a few weeks ago. Many communities are just now beginning to comprehend how serious the damage is and to see firsthand how many hundreds of miles of highways and roads, bridges, and other parts of our infrastructure are ruined, or in some cases even washed away entirely. I've had occasion to see this damage firsthand on many occasions in the last few weeks, starting in my own neighborhood, which was evacuated, but all over the northern Front Range. I was in Jamestown, as was on Saturday. Senator Bennett was there a few days earlier. And it's one of the worst hit communities in Boulder Canyon. It's almost beyond description when I come to the floor to explain what I saw and what happened. Their homes were literally washed off their foundations. Cars were embedded in the ground, buried, completely buried. Families were left with, in some cases, 2 to 3 feet of mud and silt and river cobbles literally inside their homes. I was in one home in Jamestown and standing on the mud and silt. I think Senator Bennett may have been there as well. My head was touching the ceiling because of the 3 feet of debris that was inside that house. We've seen entire roads and highways completely decimated. And without this help, it's a fact that communities will not be able to rebuild. So by passing the Deficit Neutral Disaster Relief Act, we've lifted the statutory cap of $100 million to a limit of $450 million. And that money applies to highway relief. So it'll be enough to help us rebuild swiftly. Now, I want to make it clear before and make it clear, as I've done before, make it clear again here that this isn't new money. It doesn't increase budget authority or increase net outlays. It simply allows us to access an already existing appropriated fund of money. Now, historically, this $100 million cap on relief has routinely been recognized by Congress as an unwise impediment to helping states recover. And it's been raised for nearly every natural disaster in recent years. Examples would be familiar to anybody listening. We raised the cap on transportation disaster relief for Hurricanes Gustav, Ike, Irene, Sandy, and as well during the Missouri River Basin flooding in 2011. So I'm truly appreciative and truly grateful that all of our colleagues have come together to recognize that the floods in Colorado are no exception. We're all in this together when it comes to responding to natural disasters, and I'm glad that today we can say to Coloradans that members of Congress from all across the United States of America have stood with us in our recovery efforts. We will stand with them in their recovery efforts as we have done in the past and when we experience future natural disasters. So again, I want to thank the Senate for clearing this crucial legislation.